Howdy folks. Is it still Monday? I don't think it's Monday. I think it's Tuesday. Maybe. Tuesday? Oh, isn't it bad when Monday rolls over and you keep having more Mondays? So we've got a very hard Sudoku today. I keep looking in Conquer Club waiting for another speed game. But I don't want to play just against one player. It's a different type of strategy and I don't usually do pretty well. Because there's a lot of luck to the opening placement and where your armies are, and so I tend to hold off until we get multiple players in there. But we have a very hard puzzle here. Let's get our timer started here and let's get the mind going. There looks like a lot of numbers compared to yesterday. There was a lot of blanks in yesterday's puzzles, so we might have. I'm going to jinx this and say we might have an easier time. So I see lots of ones. Let's trace those out here. We've got a 1 in the bottom row. We've got a 1 in the top row. So we've got a 1 in one of these two. Here in our middle left cube, we've got a 1 in the top row. We've got a 1 in the left column, a 1 in the middle column. So we have two choices there. In the top middle cube, we have a 1 in the left, and we have a 1 across the bottom, so we still have three choices here. We'll leave that be. See this 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5? There's a lot of numbers here with these 2, 3s, and 4s. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. So we'll come back here and look at that here in just a moment here. Over here in ones, we just have a 1 across the bottom. Here we have a 1 across the top and on the right. Okay, let's see what we have with these 2s here. So we have a 2 in the middle row, a 2 in the top row. Just leaves us with a 2 here in the middle. In this cube here, we've got a 2 down the middle. We've got a 2 up the left side. So we've got two options here. We have a 2 down the right column, 2 up the left column. So it can be any one of these three. We've got a 2 across the middle. We've got a 2 across the bottom row. Could be one of these two. And in this cube here, we have just a 2 in the right. So we've got lots of options for that one. Okay, let's look at our 3s here. Okay, we've got a 3 and we've got a 3. Okay, so we've got some options here for our 3s. Alright, we've got a 3 down the right column, and a 3 across the top row. Got lots of 3 choices still here. In this cube here, we've got a 3 across the top. We have a 3 down the center, so we just have 2 choices here. 3 down the center, we still have lots of choices there. Okay, let's look at these 4s. We've got a 4 and a 4, so we know one of these two is our 4. We've got a 4 across and a 4 across. Oh, we've got a 4 across the middle column, so we know this one has to be our 4. One of these two had to be our 2s, so there we go. Starting to get some of those options there. Alright, so then we've got a 4 in the right column, got a 4 in the left column, 4 in the bottom row, just one choice left in this center cube. We've got a 4 across the top, 4 across the bottom, and a 4 across the left. So we do have 2 choices here. So that's all of our 4s here. Now we've got a row here that just has 2 numbers missing. And it looks like our 9 and our 6, if I can count that just right, 9 and a 6. Okay, so let's 6 and a 9. 6 and a 9. Okay, so we've got that marked. We've got 3 down here. I'm noticing this 7 here, so can't have a 7 here. So we've got a nice ghost rows of 7 across the bottom. We've got a 7 across the top, and we have a 7 down the left column. So we know this is our 7, and that makes this our 1. We've got a 7 in the left column, a 7 down the middle column. So here is our 7. Now we have a 7 in the middle row, 7 in the bottom row. We have a 7 in the middle column. So we've got our 7 here. Now in this cube here, we've got our 7 in the middle column, 7 in the right column, 7 across the bottom row. One choice there. And then if we bring these 7s across, we've got one in the bottom row, the middle row, and the right column. So we have two choices here. Okay, so that filled up some numbers here for us. I did notice this 6 here, that when it came across here, that just gave us 2 spots for the 6. So I'm going to mark that. And then we've got a ghost row coming up for the 6, and we've got a solid row here to the left for the 6, so we know that one of these 2 here is going to be our 6. We've got a 6 across the middle, so as our ghost row would say, we have to have one here, which means this one cannot be our 6. And that one has to be our 4. And because that one has to be our 4, that means this one has to be our 4. Start cascading some of those solutions out. And we're missing 2 numbers here, which looks like our 9 and our 8. And it looks like we're missing 2 numbers here, which also looks like a 9 and an 8. Okay, so let's mark those. 8s and 9s, okay. Alright, so what are we missing here? We've got a 1, comes up the left side. We now have 2 choices for our 1. Okay, great, and our 8. See how we're missing a 1 and an 8? Well, we just locked it in, folks, right here. These 2 have to be a 1 and an 8 just because where they're positioned, which tells me in this column, 6 is the only number that can be here. The other way we can do this is if we look at the row and the column and put those numbers together. We've got a 1, a 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a 6. There's a 7. There's an 8. And there's our 9 in the cube. So just by single eliminations there, we can actually row, column, and cube. That's the 6 is the only number that can fit here. Okay, great. Now, in this row here, we just eliminated all the numbers. 8 completes that row, which is lovely. And then we're missing 3 numbers over here. I know we're missing a 1. We've got our 2, our 3, our 4. We're missing a 5. Okay, now we have a 5 in the top row. We've got a row 5 in the middle column. So there's our 5. We're missing a 1 and a 9. Okay, great. 1, 9, 1, 9. And those rows nice and balanced out with the 1, 8, and the 9. Very good. Okay, now we have a 1 and an 8 here, which is great because that tells us what these 2 numbers have to be. Oh, no, because we still got one more here. Let's see, what else do we have here? We've got a 1. Let's look in this column. We've got our 1, we've got our 2. We need a 3. Okay, so a 3 can't be here because of this 3 and because there's 6 and 9's locked. But it can be a 3 here or a 3 here. We've got our 4, our 5. What about our 6? Well, a 6 can go any one of these 3 places. Let's see. And then our 7, our 8, and then we need a 9. And it looks like a 9 can go any of those spaces as well. Okay. What about this particular row here? We've got the 6 that came through that helped us out. Let's see if we're missing. What are we missing here? We've got a 1. We've got our 2. Great. So here's our 3. So it can't be any one of these 2. This is the only one left that can be our 3 to complete this row, which means no 3 here. All right, that looks great. So what 2 numbers are we missing in this particular row? Of course, is our 8 and 9. Okay, and we need a 5. See our 5 and our 5. 5 across the top, 5 across the middle makes this one our 5, which makes this one our 6 because it had to be one of these 2. And now we have an 8 and a 9 and an 8 and a 9. Very good. Okay, well, we don't need that as a 4 anymore. We got that one marked off. So we have a 1, an 8, and a 9. And what's the other number that we're missing here? It looks like a 3, and that can be anywhere. Okay. All right, let's see what the numbers we're missing here are. We've got a 7 and, guess what, a 9. Okay, so let's mark this here. Now, these 9s and these 9s do that X pattern. So we can't have any 9 in this left column or this middle column because there's a 9 here or here or here or here. But either way, the left column and the middle column, 9s are satisfied. All right, so that means that one of these two is our 9, and the other one, let's look in this column, is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a 5 and a 9. Oh, look at that. There's our 5. So we can 5 and a 9. Now that we've got a 5 and a 5, we'll bring it over here. I see there's no 5 in this cube, so we've got a 5 across the top, 5 across the middle, 5 to the left, 5 to the right. 5s are complete. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 5s are happy. We like that. Okay, so we have an 8 and a 9 here, so look at this one here, folks. I wonder what that's going to be. 8 and a 9. Now, this is great because this is going to tell us what the two other numbers... no. This cannot be an 8 and a 9. I'm sorry. We have an 8 and a 9 already down here, and we have an 8 and a 9 here. This cannot be an 8 or a 9. This has to be the third number that's missing, which is what? 1, 2? A 2. Ooh, I almost made a big mistake. That did not look right. 8 and a 9 in 3 places. No place else for it to go. Okay, good that we caught that. So there's our 2. We bring 2 across. We've got a 2 in the middle. We've got 2 spots that a 2 could be. Okay, all right. We are chugging along here good. What are the numbers that we're missing down here? We've got a 7 and a 9. So we have to have... Oh, hey, look at that. We have a ghost row of 9s. No 9 can be down here. So for this cube, that one has to be our 9. And so we have this one here is the only one left that can be a 3 because we have a 3 in this right column. And then the number we're missing is a 6. Well, that was great. That was very helpful. Now this one can't be our 3 anymore, but I've got a 6 in the right column. I've got a 6 in the left column. So I know that this one is now our 6. Okay. Now we've got a 6 in the top row, we've got a 6 in the bottom row, and we've got a 6 in the left column. So there's our 6. Okay, which I think that now gives us all of our 6s, which it does. That's very good. All right, what are the two numbers we're missing here? We got a 1, here's our 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are missing an 8. So we have a 2 and an 8. Okay. Now we have an 8 here that comes down this column, which tells me that one of these two is going to be our 8 in this cube here. Now with our 2 and our 8, we can look in both this column and this cube and see the two numbers we're missing here, which is a 3 and a 9. We can see we're missing a 3 and a 9. And we just solved this 9 over here. So of course we can't have a 9 in the middle row, so there is our 9. There is our 3. Okay, which that is going to help us out a lot. Okay, because I'm starting to see this 9 and this 9 here come across. Okay, we've got a 1 that comes across. All right. Okay, we're getting really close here to the end. Got our 8 and our 9, very good. We've got a 1 across, so we can have a 1 down here. We have a 2. Okay, we have our 3 across and our 3 down. So we only have 2 spots that our 3 can be. And we've got the same thing here. Okay, 3. We've got our 4, we've got our 5, our 6, our 7, our 8, and our 9. So our 1 can be one of these 3. Let's mark that here because I think we're getting it right here down to the end. Okay, so in this cube here we've got our 1, our 2, our 3, our 4, our 5, our 6, our 7. Now what about our 8s? we have anything that can stop them from being here? 8, 8, 8. And then we need a 9. And we have a 9 here and a 9 here, which means we have a 9 here and a 9 here, like this. Okay, an 8 and a 9 and a 7 and a 9. Okay, I know that we're right here on the cusp. I don't want to break out my pencil, but I think I'm going to have to do that again. I'm to the point here where I'm looking at this 8 or 9. If this is an 8 or 9, that'll cascade and solve everything. Okay, what about these? If this is an 8, that's a 1, and that's an 8, and that's a 9, and a 1. 1. See, once I get about 2 or 3 selections in there, my brain has a hard time keeping them together. We've got an 8, we've got an 8, we've got our 2, 2s. I feel like I'm missing one. Can I find one more? All right, I'm going to do my little scratchy pad thing here. I'm going to give it a whirl here. Let's try 8, just for giggles. I might need more scratchy pad. All right, so I'm gonna pretend like this middle one here is an 8. If that is an 8, then the top one above it is a 9. Then the middle one is an 8. Then a 1 and an 8 and a 9 and a 1 and an 8. See, that won't work. Okay, so here's a rectangle that I just found right here. This 9 and 8, and this 1 and 9, and this 1 and 8. So if this is an 8, then this is a 9. If this is a 9, this is a 1. And if this is a 1, this has to be an 8. Well, these two here can't be an 8. Whew. So 8 and 9, and this 1 and 8 here, this creates that weird rectangle vibe that I have a hard time getting my brain around it because it's too many choices. But if this is an 8, then this is a 9, which makes this as a 1, which makes this an 8. And an 8 and an 8 cannot have two 8s in the same row, column, or cube. So this cannot be an 8. That has to be a 9. That will make this an 8, which will make this a 1, which will make this an 8, which will make this a 9, which will make this a 1, and a 9, and a 7, and a 9. Alright, we've got two 7s here, but we've got a 7 solved in the middle here. Alright, and let's see here. Okay, this can't be a 7, so that has to be our 8, which means this one has to be our 3, which means this one has to be our 1, which means this has to be our 2, this one has to be our 3, this one has to be our 2, this one has to be our 8, which means this one has to be our 1, this one has to be our 9. Nope, what did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, aha, 8. I missed the 9 there. Mistype. Okay, so we've already got an 8, so that'll be our 9, and that'll be our 8. Boom. Very hard puzzle. A lot of single eliminations, a lot of ghost rows, and then that odd rectangle that took two choices that I had to verify those the 8 couldn't be in both spots. So I'm still working on trying to see that without having to write it down. But if you've got to write it down, that's okay too. The part of the game is using your tools available to you. I know some people. I was hearing one of the YouTube channels, and someone was saying that even writing them down, some folks don't like writing them down and think that's a form of possibly cheating too. But it's a tool. My brain can't handle it all. I enjoy the puzzle and the strategy of trying to solve it, and so I'm using the tools that we have. You still have to discuss the logic to get it all, to get the solution. So I hope you guys had some fun. Hope you guys are enjoying Sudoku, and challenge you to have some fun and try a puzzle out, and would enjoy hearing any comments or suggestions or challenges. So thanks for watching, folks. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye.